What if the very essence of your existence, your thoughts, your emotions, your world, were not solid and fixed, but an ethereal tapestry woven from pure, malleable energy? Have you ever felt an inexplicable pull or drain, a shift in atmosphere that defied logic, sensing unseen forces at play? For millennia, beneath the veneer of the mundane, a profound truth has been guarded, whispered, and feared. Energy is not merely a concept, but a living, breathing current that shapes all reality, and crucially, it can be manipulated. This journey we embark upon is not for the faint of heart, for it delves into the hidden mysteries of the universe, uncovering the ancestral wisdom that was deliberately obscured, preserved only within the pages of forbidden texts or through the veiled practices of a select few. Prepare to challenge every preconceived notion of power, influence, and personal agency. We will peel back the layers of deception that have kept humanity tethered to a false sense of limitation, revealing the true nature of the cosmic energy that flows through you and everything around you. This understanding is more than mere knowledge. It is a key to spiritual enlightenment, an invitation to master the art of inner alchemy, transforming your entire being and reclaiming your inherent creative power. If you are ready to witness how the unseen truly governs the scene, how the subtle dictates the manifest, then step with me beyond the veil. Let this revelation ignite a transformation within you. Before we unlock these profound secrets, ensure you like this video, share your initial thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel to continue this unparalleled exploration into the esoteric universe. The truth awaits. The truth awaits. Our expedition into the cosmos of understanding begins by charting the very landscapes of our inquiry. What profound territories shall we traverse? We must confront the true omnipresent nature of energy. Not merely a scientific construct, but a living, pulsating fabric that weaves existence itself, the very essence of Energia Cosmica. We shall unveil how this raw, untamed power, often dismissed as mere superstition, has been the subject of profound sabiduria ancestral, guarded fiercely across epochs. This leads us to the second pillar, the unveiling of the Mysterios Occultos, the deliberate veiling of truths that would otherwise empower humanity beyond measure. Why were these insights, once commonplace, relegated to whispers and coded symbolism within Textos Prohibidos? We will trace the threads of suppression, from ancient libraries consumed by flame to scrolls secreted away in forgotten vaults. But this journey is not merely an excavation of forgotten lore. It is a profound invitation to illumine our cause spiritual, to experience a radical shift in perception. The third, and perhaps most vital, aspect of our exploration will be the rigorous practice of alquimia interior. This isn't the crude transmutation of lead into gold, but the subtle, profound process of refining one's own consciousness, transforming base desires into enlightened awareness, fear into courage, ignorance into insight. This inner work is directly connected to our mastery of the external currents of reality. As we navigate these interwoven themes, seeking to reclaim what was lost, we must also ask, who orchestrated this grand concealment? Who profits from our blindness? Who profits from our blindness? The answer echoes in the very fabric of existence itself, a truth so foundational it was deliberately obscured. Everything is energy. From the silent whisper of a thought to the grandest symphony of stars, all is but a manifestation of vibrating currents, a dance of Energia Cosmica. The ancients, imbued with profound sabiduria ancestral, understood this implicitly. They knew the human mind was no mere accidental byproduct of matter, but a potent intentional resonator, its thoughts and emotions generating palpable energetic fields. Consider the sacred geometry of forgotten temples, or the precise intonations of ancient chants, not mere art, but deliberate manipulations of unseen frequencies, designed to harmonize with universal laws. The suppression of this fundamental knowledge carefully hidden within Mysterios Occultos and expunged from Textos Prohibidos, served a singular purpose: to disempower us. For if we truly grasped that our inner world, our emotions, our very words were potent energetic constructs, capable of shaping the external landscape, then the illusion of powerlessness would shatter. This understanding is the true path to Illumina Ka Spiritual, the first step in the grand practice of Alchemia Interior. It means that your deepest fears, your most ardent desires, are not abstract concepts, but living vibrations, constantly interacting with the field of all possibility. But if our thoughts are such potent instruments, what then of the very air we breathe, the spaces we inhabit? The ancients, with their profound Sabiduria ancestral, understood this deeply. They didn't merely conceptualize energy. They lived within its intricate dance. In the sun-baked lands of Kemet, the pharaohs and their priests, possessors of Mysterios Occultos, knew of the life force, Ka, that permeated all. Their monumental structures, designed with precise alignments, were not just tombs but resonant chambers, amplifying the subtle energia cosmica for healing and transfiguration, knowledge often relegated to Textos Prohibidos. Across the Indus, the Vedic sages chanted Om, not as arbitrary sound, but as the primordial vibration, the very hum of creation. They channeled Prana, the universal life force, through breath and mantra, achieving states of Illumina Ka Spiritual and profound healing, mastering the alchemia interior of the subtle body. And in the misty mountains of the east, the Taoist masters spoke of Pi, the vital energy, guiding it through meridian pathways with precise movements and meditations. Their internal alchemy was a deliberate transformation, turning base physical energies into refined spiritual essence, a journey into the deepest Mysterios Occultos. These civilizations shared a common understanding. Sound, breath, and focused intention were direct tools for manipulating reality. Chants were not just prayers. They were sonic keys unlocking energetic gates. Sound, understood as frequency, could break down disease or build new realities. This deep knowledge, often hidden, was the true power, allowing them to manifest physical healing and achieve spiritual liberation. They understood the true creation sprang not from brute force, but from the subtle orchestration of vibratory patterns. Yet if such grand powers were wielded through the invisible, what then of the visible world, the sacred geometries etched into stone, and the very ground beneath our feet? What ancient codes were hidden in plain sight, waiting for the attuned eye to decipher their energetic blueprint? Yet this very knowledge, this potent Sabiduria ancestral of vibratory reality, became a double-edged blade. Its power, once universally accessible, was systematically veiled, twisted, and ultimately demonized. The custodians shifted from those who sought Illumina Ka Spiritual for all to those who saw control as their divine right. What began as a path to inner freedom was deliberately obscured, encoded in Textos Prohibidos, locked away as Mysterios Occultos within secretive orders. The very understanding of Energia Cosmica, the fundamental blueprint of existence, was suppressed, replaced by a reductionist dogma, a cold, hard, mechanical materialism. This worldview, stripped of all resonance and spirit, served to sever humanity from its inherent connection to the universal grid, to dismantle the very possibility of Alchemia Interior for the masses. The world was told that only the tangible, the measurable, was real. Yet, ironically, the very institutions that propagated this materialist narrative continued to wield these energetic principles, not for elevation, but for engineering. They did not abandon the science of vibration. They merely repurposed it. Mass media, designed for the perpetual sculpting of perception, became a vast apparatus for mental programming, a subtle yet pervasive form of energetic manipulation. Language itself, stripped of its sacred geometry, became a weapon, a source of toxic emotional resonance, carefully crafted to evoke specific frequencies of fear, division, and subservience. Consider the pervasive hum of the collective unconscious, constantly bombarded, subtly shaped. But if the subtle currents of human thought and emotion can be so expertly steered, what then of the very architecture of our physical world, the silent structures that stand as eternal witnesses? Consider the very ground beneath your feet, the colossal stones that rise into silent sentinels of forgotten ages. Our ancestors, imbued with profound Sabiduria ancestral, did not merely erect monuments. They engineered energy. They perceived the earth not as inert rock, but as a vast, living organism, pulsing with intricate currents of energia cosmica, mirroring the energetic meridians within the human form. These telluric currents, often dismissed as mere folklore, were precise conduits of planetary power, pathways along which the very life force of the world flowed. The megaliths of ancient Britain, the pyramids of Egypt and Mesoamerica, the Gothic, cathedrals of medieval Europe, these were never haphazard placements. They were deliberate, resonant instruments, meticulously constructed upon nodal points where these cosmic energies converged to amplify, transmute, or distribute them across vast distances. This was a sophisticated form of global energetic acupuncture, designed to facilitate collective Illumina Ka spiritual, to influence climate, or even to subtly reshape the very fabric of local reality. The specific geometry, the precise choice of materials, the intricate alignments with stellar and planetary cycles, all combined to resonate with particular frequencies, creating harmonic fields that subtly permeated the surrounding environment. This profound, often terrifying knowledge, now largely concealed within Mysterios Occultos, was meticulously detailed in Textos Prohibidos, outlining how form, sound, and frequency are intrinsically linked to consciousness and matter. It was the physical manifestation of Alquimia Interior on a planetary scale, a grand orchestration of vibrations. If a mountain can be made to sing with the correct vibratory signature, if a stone circle can draw down the celestial fire, what then of the unseen currents that sculpt not merely stone, but the very trajectory of human destiny itself, influencing the narratives we construct, the very air we breathe, the dreams we weave, the choices we make, and the path we walk? Consider, now, the most potent of all instruments, not the carved stone or the celestial alignment, but the human mind itself. For it is a fundamental, yet deeply concealed truth, a core tenet of ancient Sabiduria ancestral. Where focus is directed, power flows, like attracts like. The resonance you generate, the thought forms you cultivate, become magnetic fields in the unseen currents of Energia Cosmica, drawing experiences, circumstances, and even other consciousnesses of a matching vibrational signature. Think of the ancient mystics, who through sustained meditation and unwavering intent could manifest healing or alter their perception of reality. Isidis described in the Yoga Sutras, the miracle working in various traditions. These were not magic tricks, but profound applications of directed attention, a form of spiritual engineering, an alquimia interior. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, as within, so without, finds its profound echo here. What you hold in your internal landscape, in your mental gaze, begins to sculpt the external world. This isn't merely positive thinking. It's a sophisticated understanding of universal mechanics, a truth whispered in Mysterios Occultos and meticulously detailed in certain Textos Prohibidos, outlining the true power of conscious creation, the path to Illumina Ka spiritual through self-mastery. Every moment, every thought, every feeling is a directed current of energy, shaping the loom of your existence. What narratives do you consciously or unconsciously weave into the fabric of your perception? What are you truly feeding with your life force? If the very essence of your being is this directed conduit, then what happens when this collective focus, this aggregated attention is intentionally manipulated, not for individual mastery, but for the shaping of entire civilizations, for the orchestration of global narratives? What if this focus is being drawn, subtly, imperceptibly, towards a particular end, out of your own choosing? The human being, in its profound complexity, is not merely flesh and bone, but a magnificent, multi-layered energy system. Sabidoria Ancestral understood this intimately, charting what modern science only now glimpses: the physical, emotional, mental, ethereal, and spiritual bodies. Each vibrates at its own frequency, yet all are inextricably linked. Imagine these layers as permeable rings of light, or the delicate skin of an onion. When subjected to continuous negative stimuli, be it fear-mongering narratives manufactured, stress, or the constant din of discord, these layers absorb and accumulate discordant vibrations. The emotional body might become heavy with unresolved grief, manifesting physically. The mental body, barraged by limiting beliefs, can calcify, hindering clarity. The ethereal body, your very life force matrix, weakens, becoming porous to external influences, draining your vital energia cosmica. This profound understanding, often veiled in Mysterios Occultos and detailed in certain Textos Prohibidos, reveals how positive practices, meditation, self-reflection, compassionate action, act as a powerful alchemia interior. They cleanse these impurities, strengthening each layer, allowing a clearer resonance with higher truths, paving the way for Illumina Ka spiritual. But consider, if these layers can be strengthened, they can also be systematically weakened. What happens when the very air you breathe, the information you consume, the narratives you are fed, are designed to induce specific vibrational states, not to empower, but to diminish? What if this constant energetic assault is not merely chaos, but a deliberate method for controlling the very fabric of human potential? Indeed, this constant energetic assault is not merely chaos, but a deliberate method for controlling the very fabric of human potential. For energy can be stolen or profoundly transferred. Contemplate the invisible energetic cords they form between individuals, between groups, even between you and the narratives you consume. These are not mere metaphor. They are ethereal filaments born from unresolved emotions, shared intentions, or prolonged exposure. Ancient Sabidoria, ancestral across diverse cultures, from the aboriginal dreamtime to the esoteric schools of pre-dynastic Egypt, spoke of these connections, often veiled in Mysterios Occultos. When these cords are unhealthy, stemming from codependency, unfulfilled expectations, or karmic imbalances, they become conduits for energy leaks. Your precious energia cosmica can be subtly siphoned, leaving you inexplicably fatigued, irritable, or emotionally hollow, much like a well slowly drying under an unseen drain. Conversely, they can facilitate the absorption of foreign, dissonant energies, poisoning your internal wellspring. This profound insight, detailed in some of the most guarded Textos Prohibidos, underscores the critical necessity for energetic boundaries. The practice of alchemia interior here is not merely self-preservation, but a conscious act of sovereignty, recognizing that your vital essence, the very fuel for Illumina Ka spiritual, must be protected from insidious encroachment. Consider the persistent legends of psychic vampirism, not as fantastical creatures, but as archetypal warnings about individuals who, consciously or not, draw sustenance from others' vibrancy. The very air around you, thick with collective thought forms, can weave these insidious threads. But if such unseen currents can drain, what then of their potential to empower, to create, to transmute? If energy can be stolen, can it also be amplified, or even projected, to shape the very tapestry of reality itself? Indeed, this question forms the bedrock of what ancient mystics termed the pillars of energetic manipulation, not physical structures, but foundational principles honed through millennia and often veiled within mysterios occultos. The first pillar is intent, the focused, unwavering directive of consciousness. Imagine the shamans of Siberia, whose Sabadoria ancestral taught them to mend the invisible fabric of their communities through sheer, collective will, or the alchemists who believed their alchemia interior, the purification of their own being, was paramount to transmuting base metals, or even reality itself. This isn't mere wishing. It's the disciplined channeling of pure energia cosmica, a force that responds to clarity. The second pillar involves resonance, aligning your vibrational frequency with that which you wish to manifest. The chanting of ancient Vedic rishis, the elaborate mandalas of Buddhist monks, these were not arbitrary rituals, but precise tools to establish a sympathetic vibration, drawing desired energies into their sphere. Textos prohibidos often speak of specific geometric patterns and harmonic tones as keys to unlock these vibrational gates. The third pillar is visualization, the creation of a vivid, multi-sensory mental blueprint, imbuing it with emotion and life. This mental crucible, when fired by focused intent and aligned resonance, becomes a powerful magnet. It is how adepts throughout history were said to heal, to influence weather, or even to bridge dimensions. A path to profound Illumina Ka is spiritual. But to wield such power consciously, one must first understand its ultimate wellspring. What if the most potent form of energetic manipulation stems not from external channeling, but from an ever-replenishing fount deep within your own being? The wellspring within, that ultimate fount, is accessed not by force, but by a precise calibration of your inner landscape. This calibration begins with intention, yet it is far more than a fleeting wish or a casual desire. Imagine it as the focused point where three vital currents converge: the unwavering clarity of your thought, the fervent, undeniable warmth of your emotion, and the resolute, unyielding vector of your purpose. Without this perfect coherence, the energia cosmica you seek to guide scatters, diffuse and impotent, like sunlight through a prism shattered. It becomes a whisper lost in the cosmic winds, a seed cast upon barren rock. The ancient practitioners of Sabadoria ancestral knew this profound truth. Consider the Egyptian magi, whose powerful evocations demanded not just memorized words, but an absolute unity of spirit, mind, and heart, believing any discord would invite chaos instead of creation. Or the Hermeticists, whose alchemia interior sought to purify the will itself, understanding that external transformation mirrored internal congruence. Textos prohibidos often elaborate on the meticulous rituals and mental disciplines required to forge such a singular focus, transforming mere wanting into an active, shaping force. This is the cornerstone of true Illumina Ka spiritual. 2. Become a conduit so clear that the universe itself resonates with your unified command. But how does one navigate the labyrinthine corridors of the self to achieve such an unblemished alignment, particularly when the very substance of your being is entangled with the echoes of time and memory? But how does one navigate the labyrinthine corridors of the self to achieve such an unblemished alignment, particularly when the very substance of your being is entangled with the echoes of time and memory? The answer lies in understanding frequency, the silent symphony that orchestrates all existence. Everything, from the stone beneath your feet to the thoughts swirling in your mind, emits a unique vibrational note. This is not mere metaphor. It is the fundamental language of the universe. Your own being is a complex chord, a composite of countless frequencies, and this vibrational signature is constantly reshaped. Consider the impact of a chaotic environment versus a serene temple, or the cacophony of modern noise against the sublime resonance of an ancient chant. The Sabadoria ancestral understood that specific sounds, sacred geometry, and even the purity of a water source could elevate or densify the collective frequency of a space, and thus of those within it. The Misterios Occultos often detail how sound, for instance, was not just communication, but a direct conduit to altering consciousness, a key to Illuminati spiritual. Monks chanting, shamans drumming, the ancient Egyptians using specific tones in their rituals, all were practitioners of vibrational alchemia interior. Your thoughts, too, are potent creators of frequency, shaping your internal resonance and influencing the energia cosmica around you. A thought of anger vibrates differently from one of compassion, manifesting distinct realities. Textos prohibidos, whisper of sonic keys that unlock dormant potentials, of frequencies that heal or harm, of tones that could even open portals. But what determines which note we play in this cosmic orchestra? And how might we consciously tune our instrument too? Harmonize with the grand design? The conscious projection of concentrated energy is precisely where our journey deepens. If your thoughts are frequencies, then your conscious intent is the directed beam, a focused ray of energia cosmica. This isn't abstract. Consider the ancient shamans, their eyes fixed on a healing outcome, directing pure will, or the yogi, mind sculpted into a singular point, channeling vital force. The Sabidoria Ancestral understood that what you project, especially with sustained focus and emotional intensity, returns, not merely as an echo, but with a multiplied force, amplified by the very fabric of existence. Every thought, every feeling, every directed intention becomes a seed cast into the cosmic garden, blossoming and returning to its sower, not as a single bloom, but a bountiful harvest. This is why the Misterios Occultos so emphatically stress the necessity of protective techniques. It's not about shielding from external assault alone, but about managing the powerful boomerang of your own creation. Imagine the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. Your inner world projects onto the outer, then reflects back, intensified. To navigate this, practices like visualizing a golden sphere of pure light around oneself, or enveloping in a violet cloak of transmutation, were not just metaphors, but literal energetic protocols. These are fundamental tenets of alchemia interior, techniques detailed in certain textos prohibidos, designed not to block, but to harmonize and transmute these returning energies, preventing disequilibrium and facilitating true asterisk illuminaka, a spiritual asterisk. For without such conscious containment and refinement, the very energy projected can return as an overwhelming torrent. But what is the true nature of the projector? And can the projection itself alter the very fabric of the self that casts it forth? Indeed, the vessel of projection is inseparable from its emanation. Thus, Sabidoria Ancestral directs us to meticulous self-cultivation. Consider the breath, the very essence of energia cosmica flowing through you. The ancients knew that conscious respiration, more than merely sustaining life, was a key to energetic mastery. Techniques like the Vajrayana Tamo breath, found whispered in textos prohibidos, weren't about hyperventilation, but about drawing vital force directly from the cosmos, circulating it to cleanse and fortify your energetic field. This is pure alchemia. Interior, transforming ambient energy into personal resilience. Another principle lies in grounding. Imagine the great redwood rooted deep, drawing sustenance and stability from the earth's core. So too must we, lest our projections become erratic, untethered. Simple practices, often dismissed as mundane, are the bedrock. Walking barefoot on soil, connecting with natural elements, even consciously visualizing roots extending from your feet into the planet's heart. These aren't just symbolic acts. They are direct energetic conduits, ensuring the returning currents are safely integrated, not destabilizing. The Misterios Occultos teach that true strength comes not from resisting flow, but from skillfully directing it. Furthermore, the intentional structuring of one's personal energetic space is paramount. It's not about building walls, but about defining your sovereign energetic territory. This includes conscious awareness of your energetic boundaries, recognizing when you are absorbing or projecting unconsciously. Many ancient traditions, from the Hermeticists to the Druids, employed specific gestures, sounds, or geometric patterns, not as superstitions, but as precise energetic programming tools. These practices, though often veiled, are designed for the very purpose of managing the dynamic interplay between your inner world and the returning currents of Energia Cosmica, paving the path towards true Illumina Ka Spiritual. But is the path always a straight line, or do its twists conceal even deeper transformations of the self? But is the path always a straight line, or do its twists conceal even deeper transformations of the self? Indeed, the journey of transformation demands not merely the skillful redirection of current, but also the meticulous art of energetic purification. Consider the alchemist, not just transmuting lead to gold, but painstakingly purifying his retort, lest impurities mar the sacred work. So it is with our own energetic vessel. Daily, we interact with a cacophony of energies, a constant ebb and flow of human emotion, thought forms, and environmental resonance. Without conscious release, these accumulate like sediment in a riverbed, clouding our perception and dimming our inner light. The Sabidoria ancestral whispers of practices, often dismissed as simple remedies, yet holding profound power. The sea salt bath, for instance, isn't merely a physical cleanse. It invokes the ancient wisdom of the ocean, drawing out and neutralizing dense, stagnant energies, a form of alchemia, interior purification. Similarly, the wafting smoke of frankincense or palo santo, long used in temples and sacred rituals, acts as a subtle brew, sweeping away energetic attachments. And then there is the most potent tool of all, found within, the practice of light visualization. Imagine pure, radiant Energia Cosmica descending through your crown, washing through every cell, dissolving and transmuting any residue, leaving behind only clarity and boundless peace. This isn't mere fancy. It's a direct application of the Mysterios Occultos, a method detailed in many Textos Prohibidos, designed to clear the path for true Illumina Ka Spiritual. But what happens once the slate is clean? Does emptiness truly imply readiness, or merely an invitation for new, perhaps even more profound imprints? But what happens once the slate is clean? Does emptiness truly imply readiness, or merely an invitation for new, perhaps even more profound imprints? Here, the breath, often dismissed as a mere biological function, reveals itself as the master key, a direct conduit to the subtlest realms of existence. The Sabidoria ancestral, enshrined in forgotten scrolls and whispered oral traditions, speaks not of breathing air, but of breathing life, of consciously drawing in the very essence of creation. Consider the ancient mystics, from the Himalayan ascetics to the Egyptian priests, whose every practice centered on the breath. They knew, as revealed in Mysterios Occultos, that the inhale is an act of reception, an invitation for pure, untainted Energia Cosmica to permeate every fiber of your being. Imagine then, not just air, but liquid light, cascading down your spine, filling your lungs with a golden luminescence that radiates outwards, purifying every cell. And the exhale? It is the great release, the alchemical expulsion of all that does not serve, the vestiges of fear, the echoes of past traumas, the incessant chatter of external thoughts, a true process of alchemia interior. This isn't merely visualization. It is a profound engagement with the fabric of reality, a technique so potent it was often guarded, mentioned only obliquely in some Textos Prohibidos, lest its power be misused. Through this deliberate, rhythmic exchange, you become a living crucible, constantly refining your essence, preparing the vessel for Illumina Ka Spiritual. This conscious communion with the cosmic current reshapes not only your inner landscape, but begins to subtly alter. Very vibrations you emanate. But what happens when the vibrations align? When the inner world mirrors the outer, and the breath becomes a bridge, not just to self-mastery, but to manifestation itself? If breath sculpts the inner world, what then sculpts the outer, the reality you perceive and inhabit? It is the word, the very sound born from your intention. From the ancient Vedic hymns declaring Vabhag, the primordial speech as the architect of creation, to the Egyptian concept of Hu, the divine utterance that brings things into being, Sabiduria Ancestral has consistently whispered of the profound, often mysterios occultos, creative power embedded within language. Consider, then, the insidious creep of expressions rooted in lack or victimhood. I can't. It's impossible for me. I'm always unlucky. Life happens to me. Each utterance is not merely a description. It is a vibrational command, a decree, sent into the universe, echoing back its own mirror image. Such language is a direct obstruction to Alquimia Interior, hindering the purification process. It acts as a dense cloud, obscuring the path to Illuminica Spiritual, trapping the individual in self-imposed limitations. Conversely, to consciously choose words of empowerment, I am capable, I choose my reality, I create my opportunities, is to engage in a potent, living spell. These are not mere affirmations. They are vibrational signatures, direct channels for pure energia cosmica, transforming the lead of scarcity into the gold of abundance. The most guarded textos prohibidos speak of this exact principle, that reality responds not to your desires, but to your declarations. But if the spoken word holds such creative force, what then of the unspoken word, the thought that precedes all utterance, the silent architect of destiny itself? The unspoken thought, that silent architect of destiny, is the purest form of creation. This is the ultimate Alquimia Interior, refining pure energia cosmica into Illuminica Spiritual, revealing Sabiduria Ancestral beyond mysterios occultos, a truth whispered in textos prohibidos. Your internal world shapes your external reality. What silent thoughts are you sowing? Share below. Like, subscribe, and share this wisdom. Next, explore how ancient symbols unlock your true potential.